The Shedeur Sanders conversation is not changing. It's getting louder. Dillon Gabriel's play just turned the volume all the way up. The fans are talking. The media is watching. The Browns can't avoid it much longer.
Because the Shedeur supporters are going harder in the paint.
Well,
and it's like, I don't think this is about Shedeur anymore, guys. I think this is just, I think it's about whatever you guys are working through.
And maybe that might be part of it. Maybe both sides have to work through some things. But think about it. Like if you had a theory, you just tinfoil hat, put the conspiracy theory hat on, go do whatever you need to do. And part of the layer of that theory was the idea that we'll just flat out and go down this road, that Dillon Gabriel can't play football, but Shedeur Sanders can. And the first part of that theory has become true. Well, what's it going to do? It's not going to slow me down in that theory. Like if I believed that the moon landing was fake, never happened, didn't exist, it just, the whole thing was staged, and then all of a sudden NASA uncovers a whole room of what looks like could be a moon, is that going to take me further away from believing that the whole thing is staged, or is that going to go ahead and make me drive closer to what I believe? And I'm not saying I believe in the moon landing being fake.
All right, you still look at my face. I didn't know.
I don't. No.
We're like a hop, skip, and a jump away from flat earther.
I'm trying to use an example. I was going to go flat earther to begin with, and I was like, we don't even need to go down that road.
Let's leave Kyrie alone.
But like, you can believe in whatever you want to believe. If the first part of that conspiracy theory then it seems to be true, it's only going to make you ramp up your beliefs in what you initially held to be true as well. And the first part of this is that in no way is Dillon Gabriel better than Shedeur. That's the first part. And that first part is clearly true right now.
But I think both.
Is it clearly true? It's facts. Even before the draft, we already knew it. A projected first rounder versus a fifth to sixth to seventh, maybe even undrafted quarterback that got drafted in the third round because of collusion. Shedeur fell to the fifth round because of collusion, man. I'm telling you. And yes, it's the conspiracies, the opinions, the theories, the speculation. We all know, we don't know what is true and what ain't. We don't know. Everybody just talking. But what we have been seeing, like he said, is going to start confirming what we thinking. So if I start seeing otherwise or being told otherwise, if I start seeing otherwise, then I'm going to believe the otherwise. But what you've been showing me versus what you've been telling me, you've been showing me the opposite. You've been showing me what I've been thinking. All the conspiracy, all the opinions, all the theories, all the made up stuff, all the stuff we thinking. That's what you're showing me. There's a thin line between this AI fake news and all this other stuff that y'all believe in. Some of y'all just need to do a little bit more research and come to a real common sense conclusion. This might not be true. And then if it is true, still do your own research to confirm it.
Sides are operating on some level of a kernel of truth, right? Like you and I both think, like, Shedeur's the more talented quarterback than Dillon, right? But neither of us is taking it to the level that it is. And conversely, by the way, the folks who do not like Shedeur or who think Shedeur, that this is all much ado about nothing, their kernel of truth is he fell to the fifth round for a reason. Now, we can get to what that reason is, but I think what's wild about it is nobody is acknowledging either people's kernel of truth. It's a yes or no proposition for Shedeur supporters or Shedeur haters. And I'll be honest with you, like, there have been so many things that have just been fascinating to watch in real time play out. And not just in sports, but just watch it unfurl and go, wow, we have lost the plot to some degree or to a great degree. And the Shedeur thing is like, I'll be honest with you. I heard Lima today, and I'm like, oh, you're just digging in because Deion Sanders Jr. made you feel bad or made you feel some sort of way with what he said the other day, right?
Now, let me ask you this. All the Shedeur haters that be coming to my page, I know y'all watching this video right now, even the Shedeur supporters, tell me what is the one reason or the main reason that Shedeur fell to the fifth round? I'll wait. Drop a comment down below because I'm going to tell you right now, every last one of y'all, the haters and the supporter, going to give a different answer. Some of y'all going to say the same thing, but some of y'all ain't going to say the same thing. Some of y'all going to say this, some of y'all going to say that. So tell me, what is the main reason why Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round. You can't give me a correct, concise, perfect answer because don't nobody know. Don't nobody really know why he fell to the 5th round. How can you be projected to be in the 1st round and fall to the 5th round? We all say collusion. Some say he deserved it. Some say he needed to be humbled. I say the brand, the NILs, and the collusion. Everybody gonna say something different. So tell me, why are we so emotional with this? Because we invested. Either way, you hate Shedeur or you love him. You invested and emotionally attached to this man for whatever reason.
Like, and by the way, it's totally understandable. Like, if you've had, for 1/2 a second, if you've had social media come after you for anything, it's unmerciful. It is once somebody in social media has said something and people have clung to it, that's what you are to those folks until they have some sort of incredible information. I get it, but it's just like, I don't think we're any farther along in the Shedeur conversation. If we look at how I think Shedeur has changed himself in the eyes of the Cleveland Browns versus how the conversation has moved with Shedeur, one I think has gone at a snail's pace, and I think the other one is traveling at the speed of light and sound.
Yeah, and that might be the end result of all this, is that the Browns just don't feel like Shedeur has evolved enough, Shedeur has gotten his act together enough, whatever you want to say. But it doesn't help alleviate the idea that people that believe in Shedeur, like myself, are like, all right, well, I don't think the Browns know what they're doing anyway. Like no part of this has stamped down the belief that the Browns have had the right idea about Shedeur Sanders the entire time in their evaluation. Mm-hmm. No part of this has. When they continued to give Dillon Gabriel first team reps and continue to say that Dillon Gabriel's the answer, and then Dillon Gabriel clearly not the answer, like the belief that they know what they're doing is just, it's zapped, it's gone, and so that makes it really hard.
Yeah, and I think that is actually an interesting gulf for me. There was a time where I think people in general were like, oh, they got a plan, right? They got a plan. They got 4 quarterbacks. They're going to figure it out. And then systematically, and it's not all the Browns' fault, even though the Browns don't help themselves with their public messaging or the way they've decided to engage with the Shedeur supporters or the Shedeur haters with the reports that they put out there through various reporters. But like, it is interesting to be like, at no point, the one commonality of everyone is none of us think the Browns actually have a plan. None of us think the Browns know what they're actually doing.
Whereas in the beginning portion of this, that wasn't the understood notion. In the beginning portion of this, if I told you I just think the Browns are wrong, the response back was, well, Kevin Stefanski knows more than you.
Yeah, quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, Andrew Berry
whispers at quarterbacks.
These guys know what they're.
Maybe the Browns did have a plan. Or maybe the plan was Andrew Berry making Shedeur Sanders the franchise quarterback. That's just my opinion. That's still speculation. I really don't know. But yeah, like you said, the Browns have 30 plus years of if the Browns have 30 plus years of telling us that they don't know what they're doing. So why, when you come out and say you're gonna have a quarterback competition with 4 quarterbacks, and then you trade 2, you get rid of 1, then you trade the other one that you started? How can I believe what you saying when you telling me that Shedeur ain't ready and Dillon Gabriel is? How can I believe you when you telling me Shedeur can't learn this simple, simplistic offense when Joe Flacco, you traded him in less than a week. He went out there and won a game that against a team that blew you out, and then he come up on there in the press conference and say he didn't know the plays. How can I believe you when you tell me Shedeur can't learn the playbook? Shedeur don't know the protection. Shedeur need to learn this. Shedeur need to learn that. When Dillon Gabriel out there and Isaiah Bond out there, clearly they playing, starting, and don't know the offense. Can't read a defense. Blocking on a passing play. Getting hit in the head with the ball on the slant route when you're wide open. How can you continue to tell me that Shedeur don't know what he's doing? Shedeur is not ready. That's not my focus. How can you continue to do that? You already done proven over 30 plus years that you don't know. And Kevin is not a quarterback whisperer. The only whispering Kevin doing is telling them to get them up out of there, and then he's saving their career. Baker Mayfield career is saved. Joe Flacco career is saved. Deshaun Watson, when they get rid of him, it might be saved.
Doing they've been, it's 2-time coach of the year right there. Andrew Berry's very respected in his position. Who are you to tell him that you think Shedeur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel? And now that like retort, that response back has just been completely just zapped.
And now the people who were defending Berry and Stefanski in the preseason or in camp are now saying meaner things about both men than you and I have ever said.
Well, this is what happens when you go to bat for a guy and then the guy ends up failing. That's what happens.
I know we're swimming in treacherous waters here, because if you say the P word, not that P word, if you say politics on air, every program in America, their sphincter tightens, and every person starts to rabble. All right, but in the last 10 years, I have watched the entire political conversation move around me. I don't think I've really changed that much. I think maybe I've softened in some ways, but I don't think I've really changed that much. But I've watched it move, and it's moved about 7 times in a way that can make you dizzy. The Shedeur conversation is the exact same thing. I feel like the Shedeur conversation, it's not just that.
You're like the Copernicus of Shedeur conversations?
I think you and I both are. I think you and I have remained relatively unchanged with that. And in fairness, I think most people at the station have. But I think other folks on the station have given more into, have fallen prey to a heightened conversation, which then in and of itself snowballs and heightens itself.
Well, I've told you this from the start. The hard part for myself, if somebody wants me to move off of Shedeur or do something different in this conversation, we haven't seen the guy play. Mm-hmm. I've not seen him play any football that matters and of consequence since the last time I watched him play in college, where I believed he was going to be a really good player. You know how fraudulent that would be to come out and then be like, oh, I think he's going to suck now? What? Based off of what?
Well, you went back.
We need to evaluate Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. Why are we considering still evaluating these players when it's clearly not the players? It's Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. They need to be evaluated. How can you tell me a player not ready when you haven't proven anything as a head coach? How can you tell me a player need to learn English, need to learn Mandarin when he know English when you haven't proven anything as a GM? Now, if you Ozzy over there with the Ravens, is you John Harbaugh, you Bill Belichick, you up here, if you Andy Reid, if you the Eagles head coach, if you any one of them coaches that done won multiple Super Bowls and know what it takes to reach the mountaintop and hold up the Lombardi trophy multiple times, or even one in this instance, how can you tell me what a quarterback look like? How can you tell me a player don't know this and a player don't know that? When I clearly see the one you believe in don't know it neither. Tell me, how can I believe in you and when you say he not ready? Of course they gonna switch up because they moving with where the money go. The money was hate on Shedeur. Now the money and the narrative, like buddy on the left said, he told y'all some weeks ago that the narrative gonna start to change. It's gonna start being positive for Shedeur because they setting it up to when he start, and then when he do good, they will see, see, I told y'all. I've been told y'all. Now, keep that same energy over there while you was hating, backing up Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, talking about they know what they doing. They know what Shedeur drafted in the 5th round. The whole NFL thought Mel Kiper was going off on a tangent and on a rant for nothing. The NFL ain't got the quarterback position right in over 50 years. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to change their energy and see Dillon Gabriel playing bad. Now, they want to switch their positive energy to Shedeur. Well, maybe he can come back and do something. Maybe he will be good. Maybe he will do this. Maybe he is doing this. Maybe the Browns develop him in the right way. Maybe the Browns holding him out so he won't get in there and play bad. Now, keep that same energy over there when you was on April, on the 3rd night of the NFL draft, when you said, see, they humbling him. That's why he fell to the 5th round. Keep that same energy over there when see, he not doing it. He not playing. He bad. The Rams game, he ain't getting first team rep because he's sorry. Keep that same energy.
I can rewatch the Colorado tape.
Like, what happened? Did I find new tape? Are we discovering new games that I'm not aware of? And that's the part of this conversation that really just kind of is just very interesting to me, is the amount of people that they flip flop from spot to spot to spot. And it's like, based off of what? What are you basing it off of? He hasn't played any games.
Also, I think it also proves that I just think how much social media has impacted sports talk in a way that we're all so, and this is not specific to anyone, but it is, I know you read, and I know you take in a lot of sports talk. I take in a lot of sports talk. Like, the amount of thought that is just dictated by someone was mean to me on social media, or somebody said something that I in my heart know to not be true, but like, it happened, so I now have to change my stance on it. All that is, maybe this is a better way to put it. 99% of the social media conversation about Shedeur and a fair amount of sports media conversation about Shedeur is just emotion. Like, logic and, kind of, I don't want to say narratives, but like thinking this out and thinking this through about how the NFL works and how what the situation the Browns have put both these kids in. They're out the window. For like 99% of people, it just can't be done because it's a whole conspiracy. It's the tinfoil hat thing. And again, like, I'm not judging anyone because everyone is susceptible to this crap in 2025. But holy cow, is it a lot? I will tell you, every time somebody brings up the Rams game when knocking Shedeur, it just feels like, and I'm not saying Nick is doing this because I think Nick is, I'm sure that in some part of Kevin Stefanski's brain, the Rams game is a factor of his lack of trust. That, and he doesn't say Spider 2, Y banana, chicken pox, butt nugget 32, right? Quick enough. That's an awful play call, by the way.
He's right. Like I've been telling y'all, we so emotional. I said it earlier in this video. We so emotional about this situation. If you hate Shedeur or you love him, it don't matter. You emotionally attached to Shedeur. I have no reason. I have no idea why, but I understand why the media do, because they getting that paper. I understand why people talk about Shedeur every day, why they want to keep Shedeur in their mouth. I understand why Jimmy did what he did. I understand why the NFL forced Jimmy Haslam to draft Shedeur. I understand it. And Jimmy is setting it up. We about to get a new stadium. We got the hottest commodity that's coming out in the NFL. We got Shedeur Sanders. We got him at a steep discount, $4.6 million. We gonna pay him $1 million a year, but we gonna make $446 million in probably the first 2 weeks he on the team. We gonna make $100+ million probably by the end of the year. We probably gonna make $300 million by the time he start for his second year. Cause we gonna keep the conspiracy going. We gonna keep the speculation going. And I told y'all, they gonna triple down. Jimmy Haslam about to triple down on Shedeur, man. First of all, you got him at a steep discount. The speculation. That's the first thing you had going on and still going on. Then you had the jerseys, whatever order you want to put it in. Then you got the jersey sales. They're skyrocketing. You getting the majority of that money. Then you got, when you finally place Shedeur on his first start in the NFL, in a regular season game, you're going to start him at home versus Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, and you're going to sell out that stadium. Jimmy, you might be a marketing genius. Or maybe you just a billionaire that's a businessman that's seen the opportunity where you were forced into to capitalize to make even more money. Probably what that dude that's leading the U.S. doing. Capitalizing off what he doing to make even more money for his family. Maybe that's what you're doing, Jimmy. But I'm just talking. I'm just a poor old country boy sitting in a room talking to a camera with everybody watching me, and I'm just alone, just talking to myself. My savages! Moneymane and the thing of a T and playing no games. Should already know my name when I speak in CC Flame. Got my YouTube poppin', man. Like, subscribing, everything in between. You already know Moneymane. You all